We'll go ahead and start the meeting. This is the Historic District Commission Town of Fairfield meeting. Today is December 12th, 2024. The notice of this hearing was published on the Friday, December 6th edition of the Fairfield Citizen. Let's go ahead and take attendance. As I don't see Jim Acamondo, I believe then Adam Kleiber will be part of this meeting. So Adam?
Here, sorry.
Okay. Darren?
Here.
Art?
I'm here.
George? We had George a few minutes ago. Let's move on. Maura
Present.
and Jim Bohan.
Here, Rosina, thank you.
And I'm Rosina Negron, chairing this meeting. If I see that George comes back in, I'll make note of that. If not, we'll just continue. The alternate voting sequence today will be Maura, then Jim. The first item on the agenda is Robert and Christy McMahon, 965 Old Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a property located at 965 Old Post Road. Is there anyone here to present?
Yes, hi, this is Rob McMahon. I'm here to present.
You can start.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Just a quick background. My wife and I bought the property at 965 Old Post Road in April of 2024. The prior owner had submitted and received approval for an application to the HDC for a front porch in June of 2023. This application is substantially similar to the one that was already approved, with the exception of three things. Yes, Rosina.
Do you mind sharing your screen with the application?
I would be happy to do that.
Thank you.
I am unfamiliar with WebEx, but let me take a shot at this. Window, screen.
At the bottom, there should be an icon saying share.
Yeah, it's asking me to go into my system settings because it's objecting to my corporate laptop's attempt to access this. So my apologies for that.
That's okay. And just to note, George Clark is in the meeting right now.
Yep. Thank you, Regina.
Will you
I'm
like
not
for
sure.
me to share?
Yeah, that'd be terrific. Thank you, Rosina.
Hold on one second. Can you guys see the application?
We see your hard drive, I believe.
Okay.
I
So,
think we see your files, Regina.
okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Okay.
There you go.
Excellent.
Okay.
Great.
So
So yeah, should I go here? So this application I was saying is similar to the one that was previously approved with three exceptions. And those exceptions were enumerated on the application, but I'll briefly go over them if that would be helpful.
and if you don't mind, kind of presenting the whole thing, because some of the commissioners and alternates are new, so you might want to explain.
Okay,
The
so
whole.
big picture, the original intent by the original owner who'd gotten approval was to replace a portico with a slightly larger porch. And that was what was ultimately approved by the commission. And what we're proposing is a change of materials on the base of the porch to move instead from a wood floor and a wood front step to a bluestone floor and a fieldstone base, which is comparable and similar to the existing foundation stonework. We're also proposing and are asking for permission to put in a bluestone side path that you can see on the picture that Rosina has up on the screen here. That will allow us to access the front of the house from the driveway, which will be helpful to prevent from like burning our lawn up, since most of our guests and many of our family members go this way from their cars. And also it helps with sort of handicap access for some of our relatives who have difficulty getting in from the street. And then lastly, we're asking to install a light post. We're trying to do gas if possible, if that's easily connected. Otherwise, we would go with electric. And I've included in the drawings in the back of this, pictures of what they would look like. So that's the originally proposed version by the Hines, who we bought the house from. That drawing was done by Margaret Browning and then was revised. And so this is the existing home as it presents now with just the portico. And then this is Margaret's rendering of what the new porch would look like, which is identical in dimensions, just a change of materials, as I mentioned, for the fieldstone front and the base, which will be bluestone. And then these are pictures of what the light post would look like. And then the next one is the light head.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you very much. Let
You're
me
welcome.
stop sharing. Are there any questions? Adam?
Thanks, Rosina. I don't have any questions. Thank you, Rob.
You're
Darren?
welcome. Thanks, Adam.
No questions for me. Thank you.
Art?
None for me.
George?
That's it. None for me. Thank you very much.
And then Maura will be the one in this application. Do you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. We did not receive any letters in favor of this application or any letters in opposition. So the hearing for this one is now closed. Thank you very much.
Thank
Let's
you all.
move on. Thanks. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, Harbor House Inc. PO Box 23, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a property located at 952 Main Street in Southport. Is there anyone here to present?
There is, Madam Chairman. Good afternoon. For the record, my name is John Fallon. I'm here with Jack
Hey,
Frank.
excuse me, John, before we begin, Rosina, it's Art Gravanis. How are you? Do you want me to recuse myself, Jack?
No, I'm not. That's not necessary on my part at all, Art. So your
Yeah, I
judgment.
don't think there's
I-
any adverse, any conflict,
Oh.
but I wanted to offer that.
No, I think this is pretty straightforward, and I appreciate you bringing it up, but I have no concerns whatsoever. So again, good afternoon, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, my name is John Fallon. I'm here with Jack. Jack has some documents that he's going to help me. He's going to screen share. He has obviously some things that he's going to present, but I have just a few documents preliminarily that I'm going to refer to. So if Jack, you'll be good enough to put those up as appropriate. This is a very unusual, I would say somewhat unique situation, but let me give you the brief history before I introduce Jack. In 2015, the commission approved a certificate of appropriateness with regard to this property that allowed the expansion of an existing balcony that was located there. Subsequent to that time, there was a lawsuit that was brought, and the claim being that that approved patio expansion, or I should say deck expansion, was constructed in violation of the provisions of a visual easement that the property owner had granted to another neighbor and neighbors back in July of 2001. And you can see that stipulation there. Under the stipulation that was entered into after supervision by the parties, there was a provision that was made that ultimately the balcony would be restored to its original condition, and the items and elements which Jack will review with you that were approved in 2015 were removed. There was, however, a provision in the stipulation and the judgment, as you'll see from the document that is there, that removal could be delayed up to a period of 8 years. So we are now approaching the 8 years, which will expire in February of 2025. There's a long history here involving the commission thereafter. In January of 2017, after the stipulation was approved by the court, we made an application for a certificate of appropriateness to remove the elements of the balcony that had been originally approved in 2015, and that removal request was occasioned by the stipulated court judgment. You approved that in 2017, and then we did get it extended by 6 months as your regulations allowed. But as it was determined to be expiring, we then came back and applied for yet a new certificate just to renew it, exactly the same. That was approved in June of 2018, and you also approved an extension of that in 2019. And all those documents are, I submitted to Jack. He may run through them, he may not. It's not really critical. We came back a third time as the 6-month extension was expiring in November of 2019 and had the certificate approved yet again. It was at that point that the town attorney and perhaps the commission as well said, why don't we just wait here? Because we don't really need to see you every year or every year and a half, even though hopefully my company wasn't too bad. So why don't you just wait until under the permit, under the judgment, you really have to remove these elements. So that's why we are here. We're basically asking you to reaffirm by way of a new certificate what you approved in 2017, which means the removal of these elements from the deck, and that you reapproved in 2018 and 2019. So that's the rather unique legal background. But I would ask at this point, if it's okay for Jack Franzen, just to kind of show you, what we're doing and what you have previously approved 3 times before, and now hopefully for the 4th and last time we'll approve. Jack.
Thank you, John. Can everyone see what I have on my screen?
Yes.
Great. So, this is you're all probably very familiar with the location. It's on the corner of Main Street and Center Street. It's the brick high building overlooking the park. And the area in question that we're proposing to alter is the side that faces west towards the small gravel parking area that faces onto Center Street. And you can see the cross-hatched area where we added a 4-foot enlargement to the decks on the what would be, I guess, the 2nd and 3rd floor of the building. The deck on the upper level was not enlarged. the balconies were constructed according to our plans, and the dotted lines here indicate what was built, which was a 4-foot extension. The railings actually were reused, and there was a brick pier and then some brackets to extend the work out to 4 feet. So really from the west, it's not obvious what was done. You really only see it from the north and the south. And this is what it used to look like and the way it will look like if you approve this application. What's being proposed is to restore the balconies to their original size and appearance. We will reuse existing railing and planter components. And the reason for this is what John explained, was some back and forth with both the commission and one of the neighbors. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, that's really what we have. So as I said, without being too redundant, to comply with the judgment of the court, we need to remove these. The time to do that now is coming up. You were good enough to approve on 3 separate occasions in 2017, 2018, and 2019, this very same certificate. But now the time has come that we really have to do so. And in accordance with the suggestion that was made back in late 2019, rather than bothering you every year to keep this certificate alive, we just determined that we would come back when we do need to do the work, which we do need to do over the next few months. So that's really it. It's the same thing you've seen in all those years before. And we'd ask you once and for the last time to approve this certificate so that we can conform the balconies back to their original pre-2016 appearance. And that will put this matter for everyone, thankfully, to a close. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions, Darren?
No questions for me.
Art?
None for me.
George? Do we still have George?
Yeah, no question. Sorry, I was on mute.
Thank you. Jim?
No questions. Thank you.
Was that Jim Bohan or?
Jim Accomando.
It's Jim Bohan, the one that we have. You were not in the meeting when we started. So instead of your participation, we have Adam participating as the chairman.
No,
so. Okay.
Back on, Rosina.
So Jim Bohan?
We got to remember the 10 very pleasant and enjoyable years I spent living on the second floor of that building and enjoying that second balcony. I just had to say that because it's a lovely, lovely building. But no questions, and thank you very much.
Okay. And then Adam?
I have no questions. Thank you, Jack.
I also have no questions.
Rosina, I have a question.
Yes.
It's Maura. Can I ask a question?
I guess, yes.
Because I think technically I can ask questions before the vote.
Okay.
My only question was, I just wanted to ask, given that there was a number of these delays, whether there was any liabilities associated, why there were the delays, and whether the party that was wanting to force the issue, whether this created any liabilities.
No, thank you. The stipulation that Jack had up on the screen and that is part of your record indicates that there was an agreement that the deck would be, the patio, or excuse me, the deck expansion would be removed. But there was agreement between the parties that that need not occur up to a period of 8 years from the date. So the judgment and stipulation was entered into in February of 2017. So
Got it. Okay, I got you.
time goes by. So nobody's rights were compromised or delayed. This was part of the original agreement. And now the agreement requires that the decks be reconformed. But yeah, no foot drag.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. We did receive a letter regarding this application, and we'll have Darren read it.
All right, so it was addressed to us today, December 12th. It's from Anthony Gravanis, and it says, "Dear Chairperson, enclosed is a letter from the petitioner's attorney and background information on the subject of today's hearing. I'm the neighbor of Harbor House, Inc., the 252 Main Street property that today's hearing is subject of today, and I am submitting this letter from the petitioner's attorney that describes the court order and the settlement agreement that was approved by the Superior Court, which resulted in the petitioner having to remove the improvements which are being requested in today's hearing. I'm forwarding this letter so that it can be read into the record. Sincerely, Anthony Gravanis." So it's a letter from John Fallon and Joel Z. Green, both attorneys. It's addressed to Stanton H. Lesser, Esquire, and dated April 26, 2017. Certificate of Appropriateness, 252 Main Street, Harbor House, Inc. Dear Stan, we are writing as a follow-up to our recent conversations with regard to the Certificate of Appropriateness approved by the Historic District Commission on January 19, 2017 concerning the above referenced property. As evidenced by the attached settlement agreement and judgment, in order to settle pending litigation, Harbor House received approval from the Historic District Commission of a Certificate of Appropriateness to modify the structure by way of removal of a portion of the previously constructed addition that exceeded provisions of a, quote, visual easement, end quote, ordered into Harbor House in July of 2001. The certificate, as granted in January, is subject to the standard provision that it will remain in effect for 1 year, and the work contemplated under the certificate must be commenced within that period. There is also the provision following for a 6-month extension of this time frame. As previously discussed, the judgment, as stipulated to and entered by the court, paragraph 1, provides that the agreed remedial work has to be performed within 8 years from the date of the judgment or 6 months after Mr. and Mrs. Cleven, the beneficial owners of Harbor House, Inc., cease to own the subject premises, or 6 months after the death of the last to survive either of them. In order to comply with the order of the court, the parties would like to avoid the necessity of returning every 18 months to the Historic District Commission with subsequent, quote, applications, unquote, that will, as a practical matter, quote, renew, unquote, the already approved Certificate of Appropriateness in order to be consistent with the court-ordered time frame. We are writing to you as a follow-up to our conversations to ask that you request the Historic District Commission, in accordance with the terms of the agreement and the court-imposed judgment, to deem this certificate valid for a period of 8 years from the date of issuance on January 19th, 2017. We do not believe that this request is inconsistent with the provisions of the enabling statute, since it does not provide any limitation with regard to the validity of a certificate of appropriateness once issued. We would ask and hope that the Historic District Commission take cognizance of this fact and the unique circumstances presented in this case as it arises directly from the terms of the judgment entered by the court. This request will also ensure that the Commission's time is not burdened with periodic subsequent applications designed solely to renew the already approved certificate. We very much appreciate your help in the Historic District Commission's consideration of this request. Sincerely, John F. Fallon, attorney for Harbor House, Inc., and Joel Z. Green, attorney for Anthony Gravanis.
Yep. And the only postscript on that was that after consideration of the commission's regulations, the town attorney and the commission, well within its discretion, determined that they couldn't extend the permit just unilaterally for 8 years, which led to the series of new applications in 18 and 19. And then after that, there was a feeling on the part of maybe the new town attorney, I can't quite recall, that, hey, why don't you just stop filing these every year and a half and just come back when you need it to be done for real. And that's what brings us back here today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We did not receive any letters in favor of this application or any letters in opposition of this application, so this hearing is now closed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
For the next one, since we have Jim as well, he'll be also participating. The next item in the agenda is Jim and Kate Rogers, 221 Harbor Road, Southport, Connecticut, for a property located at 221 Harbor Road in Southport, Connecticut. I just want to make a note for this application. We are not going to be voting on item A, which is replacing the existing cobble parking pool, mainly because I had discussions with the town attorney and the Department of Engineering. And for anything that is on the right of way, we need a one-page engineering construction agreement and or an encroachment street opening permit for this from the sewer department to be able to present anything that is on the right of way. So we can present all the other ones except for the cobble parking, if that's okay with everyone. Is there anyone here to present this application?
Yes, Will Hibbs from Oliver's and Roland Howley, who are, we're both working with the customer on this project.
Go ahead and you can share your screen.
Yeah,
and
you just
do the
remind
application.
me one more time how to.
At the bottom of the screen, there's a share button.
All right. Hopefully that, did that work?
Yes.
All right. Let me see here. So I'll skip the cobble apron then. I know Roland, it sounds like that's a clerical thing that we have to get that one page. I know Roland spoke with the town in engineering and thought that would be all okay. So I apologize for not realizing we had to have that form filled out. Part of that, so it's the cobble driveway continuing down. There's an existing asphalt driveway in poor condition, essentially the same layout. We shifted it a little bit as it gets closer to the road to make entry and exiting a little bit more safe and visible, and kind of a better angle for pulling in and out. But we would like to replace that driveway with new asphalt and antique cobble band at grade, a band with then, a curb that comes up a little bit block edge along the outside. That is one piece of it. In the front, there's an existing brick walkway. This picture on the left here is the existing red brick walkway. And we would like to propose to change that to bluestone, a new bluestone walkway connecting the driveway to the front door, and then also the front door to the proposed parking pull-off, and having a gap or a gate in the fence there, going to the parking area. Currently, the brick walkway goes past the entire length of the front porch, and turns into these sort of brick and Belgian block cobbled together steps going down to the side of the house. And we would like to propose to change those steps to slabs of bluestone, and just having the big slab steps coming down that side of the house. Let's see. Part of the, sorry, I'm jumping around here. Part of the cobble pull off and extending that. Right now, there's sort of half a pull off. So half your car is in the road, half's on the property. We would like to widen that, and in doing that will require some retaining so that we can create a level area for the car before stepping down to the height of the front porch, So we would like to do a retaining wall, which I think will be about 20 inches tall, so about sitting wall height, out of a more of a fieldstone type, little bit tailored wall, with a fence on top. And the fence, there's an existing picture of the fence there. We were thinking about mimicking what's at the neighbors, which has a very similar design. The picket is slightly thicker at the existing neighbor's fence. That's a very good example of how how it would look from the road, where this wall from the street, you would only see about 6 inches there, and then the fence on top. When you're inside the property is where you would see more of that, 18, 20 inch in that range, depending on how the final grading comes out. Making sure I'm getting everything. Along the driveway, so that's sort of this side here along the driveway. As you're looking at the house, there's nothing between the 221 Harbor Road driveway and the neighbor, and they would like some sense of separation. So the proposal is to have a solid red cedar fence on the stone wall that's there, and then it would transition to just the picket fence where it meets up at the corner. But the idea would be do solid red cedar and let it turn sort of a natural gray color, similar to what's beyond in this picture. These were just some example fences, but the neighbor beyond has that along the other far property line, so it would be a similar weathered look. So that would run, if you can see where my cursor is, yes, right here along the side of the house. So the solid fence would really be tucked down closer to the garage end, lower down the hill, and then it would be picket that ties up and across the front of Harbor Road. And I think that covers the few things.
Okay, thank you very much. Art, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
George, do you have any questions?
Yeah, red picket fence, cedar. Are you talking planks? Is it a plank fence?
How would you describe it? Roland would be building it.
It would be a like a tongue and groove with a V groove on the sides. That fence would be probably down towards the back of the property. That would be, I believe, 3.5 feet from the top of the wall. It should be going up 3.5, and then from where the bay window is in the drawing, where Will has the cursor right now, from that point, then we'd do a small swoop down and then transition to the picket fence running up to where Will has the cursor now.
Yeah, but when you say picket, it has all kinds of meanings. It's a planked fence with a cap on it?
No. Do you have that?
Or are you talking stockade? You're talking a stockade fence?
We're talking, so where it's solid close to the backyard, the red cedar, we were talking like this, where it's like a almost tongue and groove panel where it'd be framed with a rail on it, like so.
Yeah.
And then the picket that we're referring to is would be along Harbor Road and down the partial side of the driveway, and that would be white picket.
Or natural, or left natural.
Well, you would prefer white, right?
We don't legislate color.
Oh, okay. I actually personally was under the impression that it had to be white, but this is what the neighbor has, where and this is what's existing and sort of rotted at the homeowner's property that we're working at. So we were thinking of matching the neighbors there and keeping it consistent.
Yeah, less the rot, it would be very pretty. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Jim A., do you have any questions?
No, it looks great. Thank you.
Maura, do you have any questions?
I don't. I was actually curious about that front piece, but you answered that one. Thank you.
Jim B., do you have any questions? You're muted. Still muted. Still muted. Let's see.
Oh, no.
Why don't you come back to him?
Yes. Adam, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions. Thanks, Will.
Yep.
Darren, do you have any questions?
No questions from me, thanks.
And I do not have any questions either. I'm gonna take it that Jim Bohan might not have any questions. You're still muted. So let's assume there's no questions there. We did not receive any letters in favor of this application, and we did not receive any letters opposing this application. So this hearing is now closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next application is Michael Meehan, Revocable Trust, and Raquel Garcia, 196 Riverside Drive, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a property located at 85 Old Post Road in Fairfield, Connecticut. Is there anyone here to present this application?
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chairman. Michael Meehan here to present.
Okay. Let's see if Will doesn't mind stopping the sharing.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Meehan, you can share your application now.
Wonderful. Let me see if I can manage that. Just give me a moment, please. Let me see if this does it. Can you see that?
Nope.
No. Oh, hold on. Is it possible to have somebody provide your screen share, because my
Yes.
computer's giving me some kind of security denial.
Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So, members of the commission, my name is Michael Meehan. Along with me is Raquel Garcia. We purchased this past year 85 Old Post Road. I apologize for it not being titled properly. We've set forth in the application what we're seeking to do. We've come to learn since we bought the property that this property has been commonly referred to as the Howard Estate in the town, as it was owned by Kathleen Howard and her husband. And I understand that Kathleen had worked in the town for quite some time. So the purpose of our acquisition, for the house is really to house our adult children, including our youngest child, who is autistic. So with that in mind, we set forth to try to repair and renovate the house and bring it back to its original standard. And the application sets forth that for which we're seeking to do. And specifically starting with the front and rear porches of the home were in complete disrepair. They need to be repaired completely. The underpinnings of the framing of the porch had to be redone as they were all rotted out. And those have been in the process of being repaired with, the exact same wood. I think it was a Douglas fir species of wood that was being used. We saved and kept the original railings that were original to the home. They have been repaired and patched and sanded and painted and kept to its original form. The house has a wraparound porch in both the front and the back, and so the plan is to replicate exactly what the porches were before with just new wood materials in keeping with what they were. In addition to that, the majority of the windows in the house were not functioning. We have sought to replace all of the windows we've given on the application. If you scroll down a little bit further, Madam Chairman, there are photographs of the proposed windows. We had selected gelled wood windows for this house, and we replicated exactly as it had in the pre-existing form of the house, the number of side lights, both top and bottom, and forgive me if I don't know all the vernacular. This, as we've done a little bit of research on this type of home, is an Italianate style house. It has these really decorative ornate windows that wrap around the top of the house in the attic area. All of those were repaired and replaced with new glass as they were failing, but we used the actual wood frames from the house itself. And the home as you see it, both before in the previous and as proposed, we would keep all of the existing layout of the windows with the exception of two areas in question. If you look at the elevation, Madam Chairman, of the property, it's the first elevation. You'll see towards the rear top elevation drawing. This is looking at the house from Turney Road. At the back rear, we're proposing to add casement windows on the first floor of the structure, 3 of them paired together. We did a little bit of research in your town historical manual, and it looks like many of these Italianate style houses typically were dealt with in either pairs or 3s in terms of the windows. So we tried to incorporate that into the design. So the side that's facing Turney Road, as proposed, would have 3 casement windows on the first floor. There had previously been 2 windows, and we can see from some of the restorative work in the inside, there actually at one point in time was a 3rd window, but they had closed it off for whatever reason at some point in time. So we're looking to go to 3 casement windows in that area. That would be the only detail change, looking at either the front of the house from Old Post Road or looking at the house from Turney Road. If you look, thank you. And that's the existing elevation down on the bottom. If you look, if we can go back up to the proposed elevation, Chairman, thank you, just right there. Thank you. Looking at the rear of the house, which I think is visible from Turney Road, what we proposed, I apologize, this was an older drawing, is on the first floor. This shows 4 windows. It would be 3 casement windows as reflective in the photo on the first floor, and then 2 double hung windows on the second floor. And that would be, in keeping with the same style and size as the windows on the rest of the second floor. That would be the areas that we would consider to be visible from a public road. And in addition to that, if you scroll down, detached from the house is a carriage house. I have attached, if you scroll a little bit further, you can see the elevations of the carriage house. There's a couple pictures down below. Thank you. If you go a little further.
Actually, hold on. I have those elevations
Thank
in
you.
a separate.
Yeah, my apologies. Those subsequent. Right, thank you. This first photo is showing the rear of the house, which is not visible from a public road from our estimation, but from Turney Creek. In the next, this is the carriage house, the rear of it. The next photo is the front of the carriage house, and which we believe is visible from Turney Road. And the next is a side view, and I'm not quite sure whether or not it's visible from the public road, but nonetheless, we sent it to you as I think it's your determination on that issue. So the proposal, if we went back to the previous PDF in the application, Madam Chairman, is on the front of the carriage house, is to keep the original doors to the carriage house intact, because we think that that's what makes it look like a carriage house. So we want to keep it to that end. So if you scroll down to the bottom right corner of that, yeah, that's the proposed, and that would be to use the existing carriage house doors. We would just be refurbishing them. Above it, there would be two JELD-WEN window wood replacement windows matching the same style of the side light that had previously been the carriage house. And then if you scroll to the elevation, that's yes, thank you. Thank you. That upper left corner, which is the left side elevation of the cottage. This here, there was a door on the carriage house. Our proposal is to replace that with a wood JELD-WEN door with glass side lights, and then add these three wood JELD-WEN windows here and above in the dormer to open that so that it meets the appropriate code egress, but it's a JELD-WEN wood casement window, and I believe we gave a photograph of that product as well as part of the submission. We're also showing the rear of it. We believe that this is a part that doesn't face a public road in terms of open glass windows to try to capture the beautiful view back at Turney Creek. And that's really in essence the application. We are repairing the HVAC system to the house, and we had put forth on the survey, and I think, Madam Chairman, you can see it on the survey. There's a location of the condensers as proposed, both for the main house. You'll see it on the left side, if looking at the house from Old Post Road, 2 air conditioning unit condensers, and then the same behind the carriage house, which we don't think is viewable to the public. If you scroll to the left a little bit more, Madam Chairman, you'll see it on the far side. There's a condenser on the right side of the garage there, carriage house. The property currently has a circular driveway, and we would like to change that driveway configuration. Ultimately, it's our plan to use some level of crushed stone for the driveway, which is what it currently is, and to have the driveway be more accessible as just a single entrance. We would just move it down the property line as you can see it currently exists. So that's the proposal for 85 Old Post Road. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions.
Let me stop sharing this for a second. George, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Jim A., do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Maura, do you have any questions?
Just a quick curiosity question. I noticed you had asphalt and cedar shingle. And I went and I noticed, looked like the cedar shingle was going on the lower porches. Are you doing asphalt on the top and cedar on the bottom, or?
Thank you. That's a good question. I neglected to mention that. So ideally, I'd love to do the entire roof in cedar shingle. Budget-wise, it's ambitious. We had discussed the possibility of in certain areas where you can see the roof stepping back from the property, perhaps in the lower perimeter, doing that in the cedar shingle and then replicating the copper gutter, because we think that that would really keep the entire look to the property. And then in the upper areas, perhaps, the asphalt. Right now, it's like a asphalt membrane across the entire roof in black, which I think is rather unsightly, to be honest with you. But so we showed you on the proposal the 2 different colors of potential asphalt shingles. But ideally, if we could find a way to do it all single cedar would be our preference, but this has been quite the cost of this project already. So
Yeah. I kind of figured, but thank you. I appreciate it. I just was curious.
Yeah, no problem.
Jim Bohan?
Just a point of curiosity, Michael, how old is that house?
1839.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice
Yep.
presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, my first time. Thank you.
Adam?
Yeah, hi, Michael. Just I want to clarify the windows. Are you changing the like the drawings show 6/1 for the uppers and lower windows, first and second floor windows? And looking at existing pictures, looks like there's 6/1 on the first floor and 6/6 on the second floor. I just wasn't clear whether you're changing them all to 6/1 or
Yes.
6/6, because you showed a 6/6 double hung and a 6/1 casement.
Thanks for the question, Adam. Just as a point of clarification, as you're pointing this out, the drawing that we had gotten originally done does not accurately reflect what the divided lights were on the windows on the upper floors. Those were 6/6 throughout the entire upper, and that's what the windows, we kept those. And if you need some photographs of what it looked like before, I can certainly provide those. But the bottoms were 6/1, as you refer to it. So there's no divided light. There was none before on the bottom. There's none now. On the upper, it's both on the top and the bottom of the window sash.
So you want to maintain the existing configuration of the windows and just change the windows?
That's correct, yeah. And if the drawing doesn't accurately reflect it, I apologize for that, but we want to keep it.
Just want to clarify that.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. That's all I have.
Thank you, Adam.
Darren?
Hi, that was a really great presentation. Thank you so much. I do have just one question because I'm not sure that I understood totally. Has any of this work started?
Some of the work has started to the extent that I was mistaken as to what constituted repair versus a substantial improvement or what would be needed for certificate of appropriateness.
Okay, so can you just explain to me, just so I know, like what has started, what has not?
Sure. So what started is the window replacements.
Okay.
The deck repair,
Mhm.
the replacement of the roof on the deck along with the gutters around the deck.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Art, do you have any questions?
Sorry, couldn't unmute. No questions. Looks good.
Thanks.
And I don't have any questions at the moment, so thank you very much. We did not receive any letters in favor of this application or any letters in opposition. So the hearing for this one is now closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are now going to move on to the considerations of the public hearing. So the first item in the agenda, Robert and Christina McMahon, 965 Old Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a property located at 965 Old Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut. A, modify previously approved wood porch floor and step. B, modify previously approved bluestone walkway. And C, new light post. Is there a motion? And take into consideration that everyone in the commission is here, so the alternates won't be voting for this. Any motions?
A motion to approve A, B, and C as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's take a vote. Anyone in favor?
Aye.
And anyone opposed? None, so the
I'll be
passes.
abstaining. So Jim A will be abstaining because I wasn't part of the first one. I joined on the second.
So for all of these ones, you, Jim, and Maura are the alternates. So you guys won't need to be voting for this.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So the motion passes unanimously. Let's move on to the next application. Harbor House Inc., PO Box 23, Fairfield, Connecticut, 06824 for a property located at 952 Main Street in Southport, Connecticut. Item A, remove extended masonry piers, and B, remove extended portions of the balcony. Is there a motion?
I'll again motion to approve A and B as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
It seems that there's none opposed. So the motion passes unanimously. Let's move on to the next one. Jim and Kate Rogers, 221 Harbor Road, Southport, Connecticut, 06890 for a property located at 221 Harbor Road, Southport, Connecticut. Item A will be a no action. So we're voting on B, replace existing asphalt driveway. C, replace existing brick walkway. D, create steps with irregular natural cleft bluestone slabs. E, build new field stone retaining wall. F, replace existing white picket fence with new picket fence mounted on top of the retaining wall. And G, add new red cedar privacy fence. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve B, C, D, E, F, and G as presented.
I'll
I don't
second.
know if I need to say to table A.
It will be no action, so yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I have a quick question just for clerical. So no actions being taken on A, which is totally fine. But what were the two departments, engineering and?
So the town attorney
Uh-huh.
and the engineering department.
Okay,
And
and town attorney. Okay,
I
I just
I
need to make a
spoke-
note so that SHPO knows when.
And I spoke with the engineering department just shortly before our meeting, and I believe he sent an email, but I have not read that one.
Okay.
And it's basically for anything in the right of way, a
Mhm.
one-page engineering construction agreement and or an encroachment street opening permit from the sewer department is required.
Okay, not a problem. I just need to document it for our annual paperwork that goes up to SHPO. It was just I didn't get it when you said it, so.
Okay.
Can I ask one follow-up on that?
Actually, no, because
No.
we are in a closed session at the moment, so sorry.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I'll email.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Let's take a vote. Anyone in favor of the motion as presented?
Yeah.
It seems that everyone has voted, so the motion passes unanimously. The next item is Michael Meehan, Revocable Trust, and Raquel Garcia, 196 Riverside Drive, Fairfield, Connecticut, 06824 for a property located at 85 Old Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, 06824. Item A, replace existing porch roof asphalt membrane with wood cedar shingles. B, install new copper gutters and downspouts on existing porch, main house, and garage. C, add 3 wood wood casement windows on the side of the house facing Turney Road. D, add 2 wood windows to the rear of the house, second floor. E, add 3 casement windows to the rear of the house, first floor. F, remove rear door and overhang on rear porch and replace new rear porch. G, repair, replace main house roof with new asphalt shingle roof. H, replace siding on garage with wood clapboard siding. I, add wood windows to the garage. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I as presented.
I'll second.
That was George?
Art.
That was Art.
That was Art. Okay. Thank you.
It's okay.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's take a vote. All in favor? There's no one opposed. The motion passes unanimously. The next item is to approve the minutes from November 14th, 2024. Let's see.
I'll have approved and submitted.
So it's Cliver, Gravanis, Locke, Negron, Bohan, and Accomando were the ones present at that meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. So that was Jim and Art, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a vote. All in favor? Okay. And the motion passes. The next minutes that were distributed were not in the agenda. I don't recall what the date of that next meeting was, but give me 1 second. I don't think I
Are you
have the
referring to
minutes.
the minutes I quoted to you, Rosina?
Yes, the special meeting.
I think that
Do
was.
you have the date for that one?
I think that was from October. That may have been approved at the previous,
Were they?
I think so.
Rosina, you talking about the special meeting next week?
No.
Okay.
Take it out of it. So let's keep that one and we'll do it for the next meeting if there was indeed any other minutes that needed to be approved. So next item is the chairman's report. There are repairs at 600 Old Post Road to replace copper gutters in kind, repoint brownstone exterior, replace rotted wood overhangs in kind, and repair exterior kitchen door. There were no violations. In the old business, we have the handbook update. I briefly talked today to Chris, and he reiterated that he did a tour of the districts with Adam. He has been reformatting the document to an MS Word document and adding in more to the guidelines. as of new business, I guess it's the election of the officers. So Adam, do you want to take this on or
Wait, I have a question about old business.
go ahead?
Two questions actually. One, was there, I know I had some personal emergencies, so I couldn't get on that phone call. Has there been a subcommittee formed for handbook? When is that going to happen? Because I'd love to be on it.
So let's, should we vote on that now as a new item?
I think we have to put it on an agenda, so maybe next.
So let's do it for next month.
Okay. And then one more question about old business situation. So my house was up for a local designation. It went up to the state. The state voted and it should have come back by now. Any word?
I haven't heard anything.
You haven't heard anything. Okay, I'll write to Mary Dunn.
Okay.
I think if they don't respond in a certain time frame, then we can move forward. They don't
I
have
was
to
at the
necessarily
meeting where they
respond.
talked about it, so I know they talked about it. So they
Okay,
should have written a letter in favor of.
okay. Well, the other thing regarding this is I've reached out to Mary Dunn several times and she didn't respond regarding whether we need to get an extension on the grant.
We definitely do. Okay, I'll email her and see if she'll respond to me. I've talked to her a bunch
Okay.
recently. It just didn't occur to me to talk to her about this. Okay.
Okay. The new business will be the election of the officers. As we all know, Adam's
Yes.
term comes to an end. So do you want to take this one?
I can make a motion. How do you do this? To propose Rosina Negrón as chairman?
I'll second.
And then,
And
go ahead.
I think you're chairing the meeting, so you can do that. I made the motion though, and you,
Okay, so let's take a vote. All in favor?
in favor.
It seems that it's unanimous.
Welcome, Madam Chairman.
Good luck,
Welcome,
Rosina.
Congratulations.
So we also then need a vice chairman. I'll make that motion to have Darren become the vice chairman.
Second,
Second.
Okay. So Adam second that one.
Yep.
Let's take a vote. All in favor? Okay. And then the next one will be, we need a new clerk. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to nominate George Clark as he's already laughing.
I
George
love
Clark as clerk.
I can't defend myself.
I'll second that one.
I'll give it a shot.
okay.
Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So, the officers have been elected in a way. And then the next item is to set the meeting days for 2025. I'm not sure that the meeting dates were circulated, but I'll read them quickly so that everyone is aware of it, and perhaps we can send this information to everyone. Applications for certificate of appropriateness must be filed with the building department prior to 3 p.m. on the filing deadline date listed below. All items requested on the application form must be submitted with the application in order for the application to be accepted for public notice. The application must be signed by the applicant or representative of the applicant. Incomplete applications will be returned to the applicant. Public hearings are held on the second Thursday of each month. All meetings are scheduled for 4:15 p.m. and will be conducted via teleconferencing unless as noted in the public notice that is published 13 days before each hearing. In 2025, the public hearings will be January 9th, February 13th, March 13th, April 10th, May 8th, June 12th, July 10th, August 14th, September 11th, October 9th, November 13th, December 11th, and in 2026, January 8th. Thank you, Adam. The filing dates will be December 18th, January 22nd, February 19th, March 19th, April 16th, May 21st, June 18th, July 23rd, August 20th, September 17th, October 22nd, November 19th, and December 17th. Is there a motion to approve the dates of the public hearings?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Anyone second? That was Jim A,
Second.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone in favor of this application? Anyone opposed? Okay. So that was that. And if there's no other new business, then
So Rosina,
go ahead.
Rosina, can I ask you a question? I know we've been going back and forth with the town attorney about this right away stuff. I guess it's never really has come up because most, like for instance, driveway aprons are going to the right of way. And we've done those for years without ever having to do what we're considering doing now. I think the only reason it came to light is because of the Westway application, which was clearly at the corner of the sidewalk, which was much different. But is this going to affect like driveway aprons as well?
I will have to discuss that with them, but I know if it's replacing something that was there, they don't have any issues with that, but it's when it's something more than just landscape. So we will just have to discuss that with the Department of Engineering and figure out a way when the applications come in, what exactly is required, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So if there's no other new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Anyone
second
second? I couldn't hear who was the second, so let's do that again.
That's usually us,
Bohan.
Rosina.
It was Bohan.
Okay, so Jim
One
Bohan.
second.
Is there a vote? Anyone in favor? Okay,
If I'm not visible, I'm in favor too.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you
So
very
this is
much
my
to
last
Adam
meeting, so-
for everything that he's done.
Thank you, Adam.
Yep.
Thank
I
you
should
guys
say
you,
thank
for-
you very much.
for all the work over the years. It's been a long time on the commission, but I appreciate all your efforts and all your support. And good luck. Good luck for Zena.
Thank you.
It's been a little hectic jumping in.
I
few
might
things that
continue to
normally
reach
don't
out
go on
for a
to-
little,
It's fine.
but
For
thank
it's-
you
I
very
think
much.
It's a little hectic right now, so it'll calm down.